Hi everybody, this is Cindy from Ideas Times 2. Welcome back to our channel. Today I have a tutorial for you. Something simple and quick and inexpensive. A great idea for making gifts, stocking stuffers, if you're looking ahead towards Christmas, graduation gifts, and something that I've been enjoying making myself the last few days. So, a couple weeks ago, I did a video of making journals using plain note cards or greeting cards. And so this was an example, and I just used 4 blank cards for this, and kind of your standard little journal with tags and tuck spots and whatnot. And I've made a handful of these little journals the last few weeks, and they've been fun to make, but a byproduct of making them is that I have a ton of envelopes left over. And I know there are tons of things you can do in a junk journal with envelopes, and you can use them for flips, and you can use them as pockets, and just tons of things. And I use all kinds of envelopes in my junk journals, but I only use maybe 2 or 3 per journal, and I have used so many cards that I now have an overabundance of envelopes. So I thought that I would use those and make actual journals out of them instead of just embellishments and ephemera for my other journals. So this is a journal that I just made using a tutorial from Dawn at the Book Vandal. And so this is something much more elaborate than what I'm going to show you today, but it was fun to make, and you should check her tutorial out. But you can see I used 5 envelopes here in the front, and have them each flipping, and they have some of them have side openings and some of them have top openings, and they're all full of different kinds of ephemera. And then the journal itself is made from the front and back covers are both envelopes as well. And then I have another one here on the inside as a flip. And just to kind of keep my theme going inside of this pocket, I have another envelope tucked inside the envelope, and then inside the belly band is another envelope. So I used a bunch of them up to make this journal, and it was a lot of fun to make, and I'll probably do a couple more of these just because I really enjoyed them. But so if this is something you'd like to make, I'm not going to do a tutorial on this because Dawn at the Book Vandal shop has already done a fantastic series of videos, I think 5 videos of making the journal. There are a few things that I did differently than she did, partly out of necessity, but I'm not going to do a tutorial on this one, but it's just to give you an idea of something you can do with envelopes. You could do something very, very simple, just taking 2 envelopes and putting them together. And actually this would be the front with a pocket, and then this would be the back. And just something very simple, just making the front and back cover and sewing a signature in here, or using it as a journal insert, or a small planner to keep in your purse. Very, very simple. And you would just need 2 envelopes for something like that. But what we're going to do, what I was thinking we would do today, is something like this. And this will be a journal, And so for this I used, I'm not done, so I apologize. It's not finished. I always like to have a finished exemplar, but I decided not to finish this one on purpose today. So I used 3 large envelopes and then have one smaller one. And so this is the front of the journal, and the back isn't finished. And of course I'm going to need to do some embellishing of the things that are done. But this actually gives you a lot of little tucks and pockets. You've got a big one here. This is a side pocket there. Here's another big one. I haven't decided if I'm going to leave this a pocket, but a lot of things I'm planning on playing with this one. But I thought this is what we would make today. So what you're going to need are 3 larger envelopes, and these are very large. 8, I think, 8 3/4 by 5 3/4. So they're very big, and you can see they're pretty flimsy, but I'm going to be covering them with cardstock, so it will be they'll be fine, actually perfect for my plan for today. And then a smaller one to do a flip, and you'll need some kind of an adhesive. I'm going to use Fabrifix today, but this would be a good project for using glue stick, or double-sided tape would work well too, whatever is your preference. And some scissors and a scoreboard might come in handy, as we're going to make a small spine, and however you want to embellish it. So today that's what we're going to do. I'm going to start with one large envelope. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to score. I'm going to make the spine first. So I'm going to grab my scoreboard, and what you're going to do on whatever size envelope, it doesn't matter. I'm going to make a small spine of about 1/4 of an inch, and so the flap on this is 2 1/4 inches. So I'm going to go over to the 2-inch mark and score down on this, and make sure that they have a good fold. And I want to do this first because if I don't, I will forget and not leave myself any room for a spine. So also you'll need something to reinforce your spine, and I think you should do that regardless of how thin your envelope is, but my envelope is very thin. There's no way I'm not going to want to put something in there to reinforce it. So let me grab a piece of, I thought I had a piece of white cardstock just right close and handy. Well, I don't. Even though I know I did. So let me grab a piece. Sorry about that. I thought I had one, and I know I do have one, but things disappear. I don't know if they disappear for you, but when I'm working at my table, it's shocking how often I lose things. And I do want it to be the full length, and so unfortunately the paper is 8.5 inches. I need an extra 1/4 of an inch, so I'm gonna have to cut the long way. And I don't want to just eyeball this because I don't want to have to trim it later, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. And then while the scoreboard is out, I'm going to go ahead and score it as well. So The width of your reinforcement is going to depend on partly how big your envelope is, but I'm going to go with 2.5 inches or so. Now I'll put the rest of that white paper to the side, and then I'll lose it again for my next project, because that seems to be the way things are working today. And I'm going to score a 1/4 inch spine. So score, depending on the size of your paper, 2 score marks 1/4 inch apart. And I know that's vague and loosey-goosey, but if everybody's spines are a little different size, or envelopes are a different size, then we all have to score in different places. So doing this first, now that it's glued, and now that we have this ready and this is scored, let's go ahead and glue it. But make sure you only put the glue up to that score mark, so that you don't want to glue the envelopes together too far, or too close to that line or over the line. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together, and I'm leaving that gap there, that 1/4 inch. And it looks like I got it pretty straight. So you can see we've got that 1/4 inch spine right there. And this is this stays over on the left. We want to make sure we keep that on the left. So next we can go ahead and glue the reinforcement, and mine's crooked. It does, and it's not going to matter. And I'll probably be putting some fabric over this. If you don't want to put fabric over, I'm going to do a little extra reinforcement on this one and the one that I've already shown you, because the spine is originally, I know it looks like I'm putting a lot of glue on here. It's not nearly as much as it looks like. You want to make sure that you have this in very careful alignment, the score marks. So it looks like it's going to fold and bend pretty well. And I'll be covering both sides with cardstock, so it'll be covered up to the middle, and then I'll probably do a reinforcement over the top of everything. Like on this one, I'm going to put a strip of fabric, maybe on the outside too, but for sure on the inside. That envelope is so thin, I want to make sure that it is, the spine is very strong. Okay, Once you've got that spine looking good, then we're going to add our large envelope, and that will go be glued on like this, so that when it's closed, that this becomes the front cover. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue on the flap. And glue that down. Make sure that everything is nice and even. And then I want to glue this as well, and I'm going to glue this like this. And because this is going to be covered with cardstock, it's not going to matter. You're not going to be able to see see the tab. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this envelope. I think on the other one I made, I did this a little different, and the next one I make will probably be a little different again, because actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and glue this way and like this. Instead of over the back flap. Make sure that's even and glued down well. There, I think I'm going to like that better. So this is your basic construction. You've got a 1 inch margin, or sorry, 1 inch, quarter inch. Sorry, 1 inch margin. It sounds like I'm teaching, yelling at my kids to get their MLA formatting correct with 1 inch margins. You have a quarter inch spine. This will be a flap that will keep it closed. And then, whoops, got it glued together. And then it opens here, and I'll sew my signature in there. And this gives me one big pocket here. For this one, what I think I'm going to do, not what I think, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make this a side opening envelope. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. You can of course do this before you glue it in. Go ahead and do that. So this will flip here, this will flip there and here, and then close. And right now the reinforcement on the spine, you can see it's kind of making it like poof up there. Once it is embellished, that's not going to be a problem. It'll hold. In fact, it'll be nice and neat and clean. So I'm going to move this out of the way, let everything dry, and I'll grab this one again. So you can see how that worked. And so there's the quarter inch spine. I've got the big pocket here, and there's the flap for my closure. This one with the side opening, and this folds up this way so that this is the front cover. It is up to you, once you have your basic construction, how you want to decorate, how you want to embellish it, which direction you want to have or even if you want to have your envelopes open, to use as pockets or tucks. These big pockets, you could, put a slice in one and have a huge pocket here in the middle. This one, you could leave this open as a pocket, or cover it, open it on the side. That is literally all up to you. There's so many different ways that you can do this journal. So I'm not sure how much time. I try to keep these fairly short, but I don't like going over 30 minutes, but I've had to start and stop a number of times, so I have no idea how much time I have left on my 30 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the camera and then keep working on this, finish this up. And I have a couple of other envelope journals that I'll probably share tomorrow, or tomorrow's Wednesday, or Thursday, either Wednesday or Thursday. But if you've made any journals using greeting cards or blank cards, or if you've just bought boxes of envelopes thinking you'd use them in your journals and you still have tons left over, I hope this gave you an idea of something you could do. Obviously, it doesn't matter the size envelopes you use. They could be huge, like this one. They don't even all have to be the same size, like with this one. I used all different sizes of envelopes, and some of them were junk. Some of them were, somebody at work was getting rid of all of their greeting cards, and so this one was on the free to take pile in the mailroom at work. So they're from all different places, and extras from some of my card journals. So they don't even all have to be the same size. So I hope you learned something. I kind of feel I was a little disorganized today, but I hope you give this a try. And if you do, please take some pictures and post them on our Facebook page. If you're not already a subscriber, please subscribe. If you want to get notifications of new videos, click the bell so you get your notifications. Please leave a comment. I appreciate, and I know Betsy does too. We really appreciate the comments so much. And have a fantastic day. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.